Hey guys, this year Samsung has launched its latest generation of flippy-floppy phones, and we've managed to get our hands on both of them. We've been using Samsung Galaxy Z Flip and Z Fold for about a month now. While my natural instinct was to go straight into covering specs and benchmarks, we decided to take a different approach to this instead, keeping this review subjective and more relatable to us and how we use them. I hope this approach will answer some questions you may have and help with your buying decisions, or at least you'll enjoy the content. This video is split into sections with chapters, so feel free to jump around. Let's start with the first impressions. Both phones feel incredibly premium and also futuristic due to the unusual form factor. Z Flip feels tiny while folded up and really tall once opened, and Z Fold feels chunky while folded up and abnormally large unfolded. The weight of the fold is also very noticeable, but I'd say since it's rather narrow, that did not bother me at all. I would even say it provides a more solid grip on it. I really like the matte black finish that the Z Fold has. It negates all fingerprints and looks really nice. The Z Flip we have here is a glossy cream color. It does catch fingerprints, but due to its color they're not too visible. The only matte finish for this model is in color black, and it would probably be my first choice. When I started using these phones, I immediately had an issue with the lock button, which doubles as a fingerprint sensor. On both phones it is almost flush with the frame, so it's not as easy to locate without looking. On Fold, it took about a week of me pressing the volume down button until muscle memory kicked in. The Z Flip ergonomics are even worse. Due to the hinge location, this button is much higher than what would normally be comfortable, so you have to flip it open, then reach up or reposition your hand. Even with time, it is still pretty hard to do without looking, and for someone with smaller hands, I can see this being a genuinely big problem. While we're on the subject of lock button and fingerprint sensor, I have mixed feelings about it as a whole. With the Z Fold, I can now press it as I'm taking the phone out of my pocket, so it's ready to go when lifted, which is really nice. Where I find it an issue is when the phone is on my desk. To quickly check notifications, I have to lift it to unlock or type in my password in comparison to the phones with under-screen fingerprint sensor. This of course is exaggerated on the Z Flip. To simply check messages, you have to open the phone up, unlock, and only then you can see the notifications in full. There are of course exceptions to this. Due to having a really well balanced hinge mechanism, nothing stops you from keeping your phone on the table in half folded state. That does come with some quirks. The unlocking is pretty simple, but when you have to swipe down for the messages, you push on the screen making it wobble, so you would most likely have to hold it to use comfortably anyway. In terms of cameras, these phones don't feature the best of the best, but they're still really good. There are two on the Z Flip, wide and ultra wide, while Z Fold also features an additional 2x telephoto lens. The thing that really stood out for me is the camera usability on both devices, due to the form factor. You can use both phones in a very stable tripod mode, which is especially useful when taking group photos or pets. Look at these pictures of our kitten Nano. You get a completely different perspective while shooting so low. Also, while folded up, Z Fold is an amazing point and shoot camera system. Set the lock button as a shortcut to open up camera and then just snap away. The shape of it is perfect for this and it has great performance. Next, let's discuss probably the main reason you may go with one of these phones, the fold up screens. The most obvious question is, can you see the crease? The answer is a resounding, it depends. If you're looking at it head on, then unlikely. But if you're looking at it from an angle, and especially if you're outside in a bright environment, then you can definitely see the crease and feel it when swiping over. That being said, it took about 2 to 3 days to completely get used to it, and now I don't even notice at all. How about usability, you may ask? The Z Flip folding in half and becoming this kind of a tiny little phone is really cool. It can fit in almost any pocket and kind of reminds me about those good old flip phones from the back in the day. It is super satisfying to hang up at the end of a call by simply closing it. Other than that, the screen itself is slightly taller than normal phone, but works and feels the same when unfolded. In the case of Z Fold, the extra large screen is just awesome. It is not for everyone, but personally I'm completely in love with it. It is also quite versatile. You don't need to use the big screen all of the time. The small front display is good enough to quickly check something or reply to a message. The large display is great for checking calendars, emails, and even working on a Word document. Of course, it is amazing at reviewing photos and pretty good at watching videos, but it is more suitable for multitasking. For example, watching YouTube videos and checking out the comments at the same time. Something to note, there are still applications that have not been optimized for this, and some of them are just flat out missing features. Like in YouTube app on my S20 Ultra, there is a button for shorts, but it's not on either of the screens on the Fold. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, do consider subscribing. I actually rather like using Fold for mobile gaming as well. The screen is large enough to see things and have enough space for your hands. The sound it produces is also pretty good. But I wish the speakers were on the opposite side, as currently while holding the phone in the most comfortable position, the speakers are covered by my hands. You could flip the phone over, but then the camera bump is in the way, and that gets pretty annoying pretty quickly. One area where I have my concerns is longevity. I'm sure the hinge will hold for a while, but I'm worried about the screen. While it does not feel plastic, it is not Gorilla Glass either, and is prone to scratches. In general, it does feel a bit softer to the touch, which I actually prefer, but it is highly subjective. Battery life on these devices is okay. With moderate use, Z-Flip lasts all day. Fold, on the other hand, is usage dependent. If you use the big screen all of the time, it will certainly drain the battery pretty quickly. But I have adapted to use the front screen for majority of the tasks and only open the large screen when absolutely necessary, such as reading articles or doing other productivity tasks. With this usage, it will last a day for now, until the battery starts degrading. I would have liked this phone to have 10 to 20% more battery so to have more headroom for the future. Overall, I'm really glad that Samsung is developing these lineups and can see them selling more and more of them. Both phones are not flawless, but it is the right step towards a more user-friendly form factor phones and brings some changes in the overall phone market. Z-Flip is a great small phone for those who may not be checking their notifications every 5 minutes, and Z-Fold is a perfect companion for all those power users out there. If you want to check them out further, the links are in the description below. I hope you found this useful. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up and subscribe for more. We'll see you guys in the next one.